Hello. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Today we have a teaching video. I have had a gene key that keeps coming up in my clients, and that has deeply impacted me. And I was so excited yesterday. I knew it. I knew I was going to share this with you guys um, because it's going to be so supportive and nourishing. And again, even if you don't have the key somewhere in your hologenetic profile, it can speak to you. It can teach you. It can be a guide for you. And it is in some way activated in your DNA on some level. And who knows, you may be a lover of someone with this key, or um, you may be needing to bring the medicine of this key into your certain circumstances right now, whatever it might be. But I have all the faith and trust that because I was called to share this, it will find the correct ears and souls. And I hope it illuminates you the way it's been illuminating me. I feel so honored that I get to share and discuss these keys with my clients. And as I said, I had two clients within a week of each other who both were excited to begin their gene key journey. So we were shifting from doing human design and astrology and more so focusing on their gene key exploration. And they both had the same life's work key of the 14. And so it was just beautiful to see it on an individual who had lived a completely different life and was at a different milestone in her life than to see it in an individual who was much younger and on a different trajectory. But the threads woven in between the two were remarkable. And of course, they're going through an individual who has their own conditioning and their own desires and preferences. And so the keys will always be expressed differently. And also, there will be threads that unite. So, Gene Key 14, it is so beautiful. So, for my human design people, or for people that understand chakras and energy centers in the body, the 14 is coming off of the sacral. So, the sacral center is actually a little bit lower. It's closer to, think about your belly button. I mean, think about your womb space. Um, your sexual organs, that's starting to get into the root chakra, but that space just above, it's the gut, it's the belly, it's the knowing, it's the engine in human design. It's the center where all of our power, life force, vitality comes from. So the 14 is a gate coming off of that sacral. So I'm already giving you a tone of the energy and potency of this gate and of this key. And as you guys know, I'm a huge human design nerd, and so I always will attempt to weave that study into gene keys because a lot of you likely have learned human design from me and are venturing into gene keys. And if you're doing it the other way around, human design will add a layer for gene keys. Gene keys definitely adds a layer for human design. So they go really, really beautifully hand in hand. So let's get into the 14. So I'm going to start with my favorite blog, and I'll have to contact this woman because she's made such an impact on me and her work. The way she's extracted information from Richard's teachings is chef's kiss. So this is a general sense of the 14. The 14th gene key is a symbol of wealth, health, and prosperity, all themes linked to great fortune. The ancients called it possession in great measure, the Midas touch, the spirit of philanthropy, of gold, of the sun, of all the riches under the sun. This can be this all can be ours when we learn to give of ourselves unconditionally, just like the sun. So the 14th gene key moves from the shadow of compromise, the gift of competence, and the city of bounteousness, not to be confused with boundlessness, which we covered in the 35th gene key. Bounteousness. So let's start with the shadow. Compromise, the habit of second best. Compromise begins deep inside of us. It's become the norm on earth. It's living life without a sense of personal freedom. It's settling for second best and never fully enjoying what you do. This has become a habit for most of us, this compromising of our highest dreams. When you make an inner compromise, you don't feel good. A part of you shrinks. To live a life of genius, you have to start believing in yourself again. You must get in touch with your heart and with your dreams. So just begin right now making small decisions and actions that don't compromise your sense of inner integrity. Remember, there will always be compromises to be made, but on the inside, stay with what feels true to your heart, then take a stand. Give yourself permission to believe in you again. Summon your inner fire, dare to dream. We're already getting a taste of the gift in the city in these last couple lines here that she wrote. Stay with what feels true to your heart, then take a stand. Give yourself permission to believe in you again. Love this. This addresses the compromise shadow because compromise has language around it, which I'll break down, of deferring to others and a desire to not rock the boat, and it can go into the victim story of it's just better to go along with what others want to do for whatever reason. And there's usually lots of reasons. And so when we speak of compromise, we have to address the concept of self abandonment. So, where do you in your life have fear around dreaming? Where do you play small? Where do you shrink down so that you can fit within the parameters of an ecosystem, environment, or relationship, a workspace? Look at that. Really look at that. And this is why I love talking about the gift, because you now have language where you can identify, oh my God, yeah, I don't remember the last time I let myself dream about what it would feel like to really truly be loved by my partner, or to have a trusting friendship around me. I mean, I've spoken to so many people who are like, I don't trust people anymore. I'm just, and they just settle for these surface level acquaintances because they've compromised and not even given themselves permission to contemplate what is it that I would love. And so there is an element of fire there. It takes a passionate, strong, confident individual to say, I want to speak on stages around the world. I have a voice that needs to be shared, and I have a message within me, and I want it to, I have a song and I want it to be sung. That takes fire. That takes daring energy. It's bold, it's big, it's huge. And but the compromise, the exchange of not allowing myself to acknowledge that dream, that space has to become so uncomfortable and so not okay, to put it straight up, that the risk of daring to dream is a less of a risk than the risk of losing myself for forever and all eternity, doing and settling for a life that I know is not as big as the one that I could be living and that I want to live and that I desire to live. So let's speak about the shadow in the way that I like to, with the repressive nature and then the reactive nature. See which nature really connects with you, and or see if you can see yourself in both. You typically will. Um, and yeah, sit and receive this. Repressive nature, impotent. For those who are unconsciously dominated by fear, the 14th shadow represents an almost inescapable dilemma. The more one compromises in life, the more powerless one feels to escape. A great deal of our actual vital life energy is held within this 14th gene key. And when we do not release this energy through work that we find fulfilling, our power becomes choked up inside us. The word impotent has the double connotation of applying to our sexuality, which is also deeply connected to the 14th gene key. Sexual vibrancy and fertility, in part, rises and falls upon how much fulfillment we get out of our lives. That Kundalini energy. Making compromises out of fear will actually deplete our fertility. Impotence does not necessarily mean that one appears weak. Repressed natures often do a good job of hiding their weakness by going along with whatever happens. True impotence in this respect is about not having the courage to stand alone and pursue one's own unique path. So, reactive nature, enslaved. The reactive nature of this shadow is also based upon insecurity, but instead of collapsing into impotence, these people react by trying to prove themselves. This is a classic pattern in the world today. We see people working hard in jobs that are really not right for them in an attempt to prove to themselves and others that they are special. These people are enslaved to their own need for recognition. Ironically, even if they receive recognition, it doesn't fulfill them because they have never unleashed their true potential in life. Such people are merely pretending to be powerful in life.